Hello and welcome, episode number 5, Gambling with an Edge, and today's video, bankroll management strategies, and 3 different topics I'm going to go over. First topic is how much should you be risking and moving up and down within that. Number 2, taking your shots for the big score or a major bankroll booster, and number 3, going all in within your bankroll. And this is generally speaking for sports and for poker. As far as fantasy sports, that's almost the same as poker tournaments, so put that in together. But let's get started. Number 1, how much should you be risking when you're making sports bets or playing in poker tables? As far as sports are concerned, you really need to win 53.5% on average, minus 110 lines, but really 56 to dominate. If you're playing those games, then you're going to be doing good. Sport or football. Poker, if you need to be making basically in cash game 7 big blinds every 100 hands, 6 to be doing okay. Once you get into double digits over 10 big blinds every 100 hands profit, then you're doing really, really good. And the more you play, I think the less should be risked. If you're playing only on Friday and Saturday nights, or you're making 10 bets a week, then by making small bets is really dumb, because now you got all this extra currency in your bankroll that doesn't need to be there, that will never ever be used, so why even have it there? But if you're playing all the time, if you're betting 30 games a week, if you're playing thousands and tens of thousands of hands a week, then maybe you want to risk less, somewhere between maybe 1 to 3%. And ideally, I think 2% is a good average to risk on any given cash game hand. Therefore, you have a bankroll of $1,000. 2% of that would be 20. So when you buy into a game for $20, you're basically playing 10 cent, 20 cent for 100 big blinds. Basic like that. And if you're hardly ever playing, maybe you only want to risk 10%. You got a $1,000 bankroll, so now you're going to bet $100 on the game. You're playing 50 cent dollar. As far as moving up and down, when you're losing, my general rule is reduce stakes. When you got your trend in your graph of up and down, plus minus going down, you really want to reduce the volatility, thus you want to reduce your stakes, and then as you're winning again, then slowly increase yourself back up to the limits you were at before. If you're winning, then maybe you want to decide, okay, I've gotten to a certain level, now I can play at this bankroll. For example, you have a bankroll of 1,000, and you were playing that $20 game. Well, next thing you know, your bankroll's at 1,500 now. You're done really well. Well, now I'm going to play play for $30 on the table. Okay, so I'm going to play here, but if I get down to, if I lose, say, $200, I'm going to move back down. That type of strategy is what is really ideal. There was actually a situation for me where I was at a live casino, and this day I decided to have my dinner in my hotel room. So while I was there, I turned my computer on. I just wanted to see if what I thought was the worst player ever to play at higher stakes was online. Sure enough, he was. Normally, he would play in either the $2, $4 or the $3, $6 cash game. But at this time, he was playing the $5, $10, which means you buy it for $1,000. Okay, I'm going to go into this game. And on this particular session, this player was raising about 17, 18 times the blind pre-flop. It was insane. And you're just chopping your lips trying to get some action against this player, because you have a huge edge as long as you outplay the person with better hands. So in this particular spot, now I got position on him. I'm on his left, and he's in the big blind. So I get ace-king at first position. Okay, I'm normally raise every hand that I play, but if you're going to be raising this, I'm just going to limp, and then when you raise, I'm just going to come back over the top. Another player limps. He raises it 17, 18 times the blind like normal, which is like 170. I'm all in, $1,000, boom. And then the person right beside me calls. Oh man, this sucks, because now I know you got aces. The other person called as well, $3,000 pot. I have ace-king, he has aces, and the person in the big blind had jack-10. And I lost. So therefore, one, I had to reduce my bankroll size betting because it took a very big hit. I normally was playing 2-4 and 3-6, so I pretty much doubled my bet in one shot. And I also learned at that particular time that you really want to be giving those type of players positions, because had I had him to my left and I limp, he raises 18 times the blind and this other player plays big, I'd be like, okay, alarm bells, alarm bells. I'm not concerned about what you have, but I'd be concerned about the other player would have, and I could fold the ace-king, and that's only lose $10 compared to $1,000. So when I go back to the casino, I was playing the $2, $5 game there. I dropped down in the $1, $2. People were saying, weren't you playing 2-5? Why are you playing this game? I told them what happened. And then I realized after I said it, okay, so people are going to know that I'm playing very composed. So I'm going to use this to my advantage, and I expect better players to respect my bets a lot more, and people to generally be scared of my plays because I'm a good player. So I thought that worked out well, and of course it ended up doing such. So when you lose, drop down levels. When you win, increase levels. And when you're winning, that's when I think it's smart to take a shot for a big score. For example, let's just assume, let's play a smaller stake. Let's say you got a bankroll of 200, and you've done really well, your bankroll's at 280. And let's just say you were playing $10 a hand, 5 cent, 10 cent, $10 games. Well, now maybe you want to play maybe a tournament, a $20, $30 tournament, $40 tournament. And if you lose, well, you're back to where you were. It's a free roll kind of deal. If you win big, well, now you can have a higher bankroll and adjust within it. But don't get too caught up on this, because if you lose when you increase your bankroll, that's part of the game, and just go back to where you were. And use the psychology. Okay, if I was at 200, I went to 280, and then I risked, say, $30. Well, if you would have asked myself at the start of the day, if my bankroll goes from 200 to 250, would I be happy? Yeah. So that's one example of taking limits, doing it within profits, but making sure that you allocate so much for taking a larger risk, taking larger bets to do such. As far as going all in on a bankroll, it's like a tilt move, really. Say you have a bankroll, you start off with like a $500 bankroll and you're down to 200, and you're like, oh man, this is just sucks. You get all pissed off, and you bet it all in one game. You bet it all in one tournament. You put it all in one cash game. I'm not going to say that's a bad play. I've done this probably about 50, 60 times in my life. And the best time I did it was when I had an individual bankroll of $600 on one site and an overall bankroll of about $4,000 or $5,000. And I had that account well over 1,000, and it was down to 600. So I thought, you know what? Let's just go in the $3, $6 game. Put the entire 600 in one hand, or one table. And in that situation, what occurred is the board at the end had 2 queens and 2 jacks, and I had a jack in my hand, which means I had the bottom dummy full house, which is still a really good hand. And when I was forced to an all-in decision at the end, I decided, well, I might as well make a call because it's the right play to do. I think it's going to be the best hand close to 2/3 of the time. I did. It was the best hand. I got up to 1,200. Months later, I increased that bankroll well over 2,000% more. So all the other times that I lost made up for it on this, and even a few other times when I put my whole bankroll on one shot, I still profited as well. Just generally when you do this, you want to find the ideal game, an ideal poker game, an ideal poker tournament, an ideal bet for a sports game, because if you don't, you're not optimizing the strategy that I think you would need. So thank you for watching this video. Next week I'm going to try to do it on Thursday, as the next video will be based on Ontario, not Canada, but Ontario, Canada, betting on hockey games. And you don't have to know anything about hockey to profit on this. I'm going to explain this on Thursday. I'm hoping there's going to be a bet, and there should be, because there's a lot of games on Thursday, which is why I'm going to try to do it on that particular day. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.